Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.
Joe Biden is an embattled president. His foreign policy has delivered more setbacks than wins. And now even his domestic agenda looks headed for failure. In less than 24 hours from now, the US government could go into a shutdown. That's because the US Congress refuses to approve the Biden administration's budget. In about 2 weeks, the US government will be out of money. America will default on its loans for the first time in history. Our next report tells you more.
A stadium filled with sounds of boos. That's how spectators welcomed US President Joe Biden on Wednesday. He was attending a baseball game between lawmakers at a time when the future of his domestic agenda is at stake. Biden is staring at a potential financial disaster. The coffers of the Treasury Department are about to run dry. The Biden administration is unable to get a budget bill passed. If the impasse continues, the US government will shut down. All of this has happened before. Since 1981, America has witnessed a total of 14 government shutdowns. But this time, the crisis is much bigger. America's reputation is on the line. US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has issued a dire warning. She says if the government doesn't get the funds it needs, America would default on its loans for the very first time in its history.
It is imperative that Congress address the debt limit. If not, our current estimate is that Treasury will likely exhaust its extraordinary measures by October 18th. At that point, we expect Treasury would be left with very limited resources that would be depleted quickly. America would default for the first time in history.
The implications would be catastrophic, not just for America's reputation, but for its citizens too. Nearly 50 million senior citizens won't get Social Security checks. The military won't get its salaries. Tax refunds would be delayed. In short, millions of Americans would be strapped of cash in the coming weeks. The Democrats did try to avert a crisis by passing a stopgap bill to avert a shutdown.
We are ready to move forward. We have an agreement on the CR, the continuing resolution to prevent a government shutdown, and we should be voting on that tomorrow morning.
But the Republicans are adamant they won't allow the US president to borrow more money to keep the government running.
House Democrats have made it clear we're running the place to sit down and shut up. The bottom line on the debt ceiling today, Democrats alone have set fire to America's House and are now demanding Republicans put it out for them.
This is a make-or-break moment for President Biden. He wants $1 trillion to fund infrastructure projects across America, but the US government cannot cut a check. It doesn't have that kind of cash. The solution is to borrow the money. But already the United States owes more than $28 trillion to its creditors. In a couple of weeks, the US government would touch its limit of borrowing, known as the debt ceiling. Biden needs the US Congress to lift the borrowing cap. But the Republicans are determined to block the president's budget. The Democrats have less than 24 hours, and Biden doesn't have the political capital to push his budget bill through. The debacle in Afghanistan has pushed his approval ratings to below 50%. An embarrassing government shutdown now looks inevitable. Bureau Report, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.